How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today's topic is that alcoholics have to have a drink, that they cannot live without the alcohol. I've heard so many people saying this. I think it's part of so many parts of literature, you know. It's certainly part of AA teaching, that kind of teaching, you know, where the focus is on the alcohol all the time. You know, the focus on stopping the alcohol, the focus on the person being an alcoholic for the rest of their lives, the focus on that one drink is all it takes to put you back to where you were, that you can never drink again, you know. Now, I'm the opposite end of the scale. I'm focused on what I can do without alcohol, right? I'm focused on what my life, the trajectory that my life has taken since I stopped, is basically the same trajectory that my life was on before I started. You know, the bit in the middle, although a massive bit, you know, 35-year bit, was a detour and was a mistake, you know. I learned so much about myself in those times, you know. If I could go back, would I change it? And I wouldn't, because, you know, there's so many things about myself that I really like, and there's so many things about myself that I like now that I stopped drinking alcohol. But there was so many parts of my life that I love because of the people, the things that I've done and the things that I've seen in my life, the lessons that I've learned because I was a drinker. And I wouldn't have learned a lot of those lessons if I'd stopped drinking. I think that one of the reasons why most people think that they cannot live their lives without alcohol is the fear, that they fear what life is going to be like without alcohol. And as I've said many times before, people will do twice as much to avoid pain as to seek pleasure, right? Twice as much. And B, people are thinking from the brain, the adult brain of a drinker. You know, whether you call that alcoholic or problem drinker or a heavy drinker or whatever the fuck you want to call it, it doesn't make any difference, right? It's still, you are in the position that you are in. Putting a label onto yourself, right, and putting a convenient label for somebody else to call is not going to change the fact, right? You are where you are. It will change the fact in your head, but that's a different story, right? It will change the fact in so many different ways when it comes to you trying to change and your abilities to change up here in your mind by putting a label on yourself, because those labels have got baggage on their own. But I'm saying that no matter what you call yourself, you are in the same position, right? You are in the head of a drinker who has been using alcohol to solve problems, to solve issues like how do you relax, as a behavioural crutch, as a coping mechanism, as all these different types of things in your life. And there lies the fear, right? Because you can't think, anybody of intelligence knows that not only do you quit alcohol, you have to stop the drinking, which is the easy part, right? You don't put it in. But you also have to make all these changes. And when you realize the enormity of the change that you have to make, it can leave you thunderstruck, you know. It can leave you thinking, there's no way I can do this. So the solution, as always, is taking it bit by bit, one bit at a time, solving one problem and then dealing with another. That's the only way you're going to get through this. Thinking about the big picture is a good thing to do in the long run, but you're not in the long run, you're only in the moment by moment thing, right? So you have to deal with these things now and at the moment. You didn't need alcohol before you started drinking, and you certainly don't need it now. Like I said in one of the other videos, you're born with a natural repugnance towards the taste and the smell of alcohol. If you put alcohol into the mouth of a child who is under no social pressure, they will fucking spit that stuff straight out and go, what the hell, are you trying to poison me, you fucking idiot? Maybe not in those terms, but that's the same kind of emotion and reaction that you'll get from a child if you put alcohol into their mouth. Once you stop drinking, once you get over the fact that it's going to be difficult, right? You're going to have discomfort, right? Most of the discomfort is in the early days, and as I say, it's like on a spectrum. So you start out with a lot of discomfort, and as you move across that spectrum from a drinker to a complete non-drinker, the discomfort will slowly and surely disappear. It will become habitual for you not to drink. It will become much more difficult for you to take a drink again if you have the right mindset. Now, if you've got the wrong mindset, it will take very little, because all it'll take is a spark, because that's what you want to do in your head, is go back to the alcohol. That's what you're focusing your energies on. So there is no such thing as an alcoholic who cannot live without alcohol. Put somebody in a hole for 6 months and there's no chance of them getting alcohol. Give them food and water, but don't allow them access to alcohol. They might chew their nails off, right? They might panic, they might go mad, but I guarantee you one thing, they will not die because they don't have any alcohol. Even the worst of people, as I said, there's the more you drink, the more the more into this you are, the more habitual it is for you, the more addicted you are to this stuff, the more of it you drink day in and day out, the more you've got to be careful when you do stop, right? But if you can stop, because you've stopped before and you've managed to do a couple of days or a week or whatever time period. If you haven't had a break from alcohol in a long time and you drink a lot of stuff, and I'm talking about a lot of stuff, you get up in the morning, you drink from the morning until the evening, then you certainly shouldn't be stopping drinking on your own. But even for you, right, even for you, once you get past that initial stage, that initial shock stage where your body is going into shock because you haven't had alcohol, and this is only for a very, very minute percentage of drinkers, right? Like fucking 0.02% of the drinking population will ever go through any of this, and even a smaller amount of those people are at risk from this, but you know yourself, you should know yourself, if you're at that stage, you should know yourself that, there's no way you should be quitting drinking, because every time you try and quit drinking, every time you try not to have a drink, even to go for half a day without a drink, you're starting to feel the symptoms, So go to the doctor in that case. But even for you, it's not a question of you not being able to live without alcohol. You can live without alcohol. You just have to put up with a bit more discomfort, I'll leave it there. Till next time, I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Take very good care of yourself. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth. Keep it out of your mouth, and you will eventually get used to it being out of your mouth. You'll eventually get so used to it that the smell or the idea of drinking, drunken people you'll just look at drunken people as if to say, what the hell was I ever doing? What was I thinking? Putting that stuff in my mouth, thinking that this was a good way of living. Until next time, onwards and upwards. Take care. Bye bye now.